What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. Week number 8 in the NFL season has now begun. Aaron Rodgers got back on the board today. They are 3-6 right now. Texans 6-3. CJ Stroud has had a rough night. You know, what's crazy is the Texans had 186 yards running. 186 yards running the football tonight. And they scored 13 points. To put that in perspective, if you take what the Cowboys did last week, 56 yards, it would take them 3 weeks plus to make 186 yards. You realize that, right? 56 times 3 is 168, which is short of what the Texans ran the ball tonight. What's crazy is CJ Stroud was running for his life tonight because his offensive line was terrible, and he's lost his 2 number 1 receivers, and they scored 13 points. Micah and Diggs, of course, have CJ way ahead of Dak Prescott. CJ Stroud is in their top 10. But see, here's the thing. Without his weapons, he's not as effective. Without his offensive line, he's not effective. He at least had 186 yards on the ground, and they scored 13 points. Having players out there is important, real important. And this is where I look around, and this may not be popular with people because everybody just wants to be mad as shit because we're not where we want to be. And it's so easy. The cop-out is just take Dak as opposed to actually looking at the reality. As bad as the Texans were tonight and scoring only 13 points against the Jets, as bad as they are, CJ Stroud still had it better than what Dak has had to deal with all season long. Flat out. And we don't give the guy any cover. And see, this is what pisses me off, because I thought this guy said that, well, look how good Jared Goff is. And it's like, you realize that the Lions are averaging 156 yards a game. What's even crazier, this is to put this in perspective, how bad our running game is. People will say, well, quarterbacks, Troy Aikman elevated the team. Troy Aikman had the all-time leading rusher. Well, Roger Staubach was Captain America. He was Captain Chris. He had Tony Dorsett. Okay? Tony Dorsett. To put this in perspective of how bad our running game has been, we have to go back. I started doing this exercise, and I'm going to do it completely. But I did basically about the first 8 years of the Cowboys franchise. I know by the time we got to the 70s, we were pretty good running the football. But in our first season, where I believe we were 10-1, 11-game season, the Cowboys averaged 87 yards a carry that season. We're averaging like 72. The worst season in Cowboys history, we're rushing like 13 yards less a game than that team. The 1-15 team, Troy Aikman's rookie year where he was knocked out half of it, we rushed 88 yards a game. 14 yards better than what this team is. I want you to listen to that very, very carefully. The worst years in the history of the Dallas Cowboys still ran the ball better than what we do right now. Still ran the ball better than what we do right now. And everybody wants to blame the quarterback. You know, and that's bullshit. Is he playing great? No, but he certainly isn't getting help. I could look at CJ Stroud tonight and say he wasn't playing great. Because and people will say, well, his offensive line didn't protect him. Well, duh. That's what's happening with the Cowboys. At least he had a running game. His weapons weren't there. Duh. Dak has one. And then we get Diggs and Parson on the podcast. I wonder if this is a case of we took the money and we want to run. If Diggs is looking and saying, you know what, I'd like to get an off-ramp. Going after the reporter and then going on Micah's podcast and then, of course, going back and revisiting it with the whole apologies and these nuts. And Micah Parsons yucking it up with every player out there. I just don't understand this NFL. I can't say I want to get along with my crosstown high school rivals. I know I didn't want to get along with the University of Richmond, the Spiders. We hated them. Can't say I want to be friends with anybody across to the other side of the field. But yet, here it is. Micah's got to realize the things he's doing on his podcast are not helping the team. You are making the team look worse. And that needs to be priority number one. Is whatever else I do, I don't do anything outside of my team that will hurt my team. And this whole thing is just making things so much harder and getting all the questions because you ran your mouth. Because you ran your mouth. Now we're getting questions about, I'm sure somebody's going to ask Dak, well, what do you think about Micah Parsons and Diggs not putting you in the top 10? I'm sure Dak will come up with a great answer for that. But he shouldn't have to be focusing on that when we should be focusing on playing the Atlanta Falcons. And on top of it, Micah's not going to be playing. So you throwing people under the bus and things and making them look bad, and they're the ones that have to go out and play, where you're going to be sitting on the sidelines. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, what do I know? I'm old as dirt, and I feel old tonight after all the digging we did for the walkway. But I feel great because we'll be able to start getting some of these bricks and stuff put in there tomorrow. And let me say, shout out to Rhonda Lovely Sparks and her hubby. They purchased a brick tonight, which will help us get closer to our goal of getting the house registered. And Dirty Sanchez, I forgot what he put on there, but it's definitely dirty. But Dirty Sanchez getting a brick. So those things will be here for hopefully all eternity. And I appreciate you guys helping out and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. But I'm tired and I feel delirious right now. And I can't stop yawning. And I can't keep my eyes open. That game was literally that ugly. But I appreciate you guys. And remember to tell the people you love how much you love them. Because you might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. And if I can get up out this chair and turn this phone off, I will go to bed. Oh, Lordy. It's hard out here for a pimp.